And once again, happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. It is the end of the workday. So what does that mean? I'm giving in another early vid. This are these are the top wide receiver plays this week on week 3 on FanDuel main slate. This is your boy Brady Fancy. Thank you for tuning in once again. Let's get it going. A lot of injury news has come out. As you can see, Jaden Daniels was finally ruled out. It was always looking like he wasn't going to play once again. Just a reminder. Mbuka made practice, but he's still questionable. Purdy, questionable. So unless we get some walkthroughs, Purdy already said we'll see Sunday. Unless we get walkthroughs tomorrow where people get ruled out, like late tomorrow night, or at least early in the morning, there's still some questions in the air. So let's see if we can find and preview these guys and see what we like. Now, obviously Jamar Chase 9,600. There's absolutely no problem with that. Why do I feel like I don't want to pay for Jamar Chase? Obviously, in my last video, I felt that the wide receivers for, even though that's how you kind of attack them, like I said, Jake Brown and canceling, and he has the arm talent to keep Chase getting his numbers. I like the Vikings defense this week on the road. So I think there's tons of value. Well, even though there's still pay-up options, you can save 600 with Puka. You can save 700 with Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson, without a doubt, even though you could consider them the same, both Jefferson and Chase have still performed well, but Jefferson definitely has more experience with, poor quarterback play, backup quarterback play, various quarterbacks in his short career, and can still be a major part of a slate. So if you ask me, Justin Jefferson and Puka, I would definitely do that. Plus, to me, the matchup is better for Justin Jefferson. CeeDee Lamb, everybody knows that's the most hyped game, but I will definitely, even if I don't stack this game, I have already said I will be underperforming in this game. I somewhat don't believe the hype, but I already did say that if there's one side that I will stack, it is the Cowboy side more than the Chicago side. So CeeDee Lamb for about the second or third straight, well, pretty much for week 3, I'm heavy on CeeDee Lamb. And then after that, the way they priced it, I think because the way they love that game, like look at the gap between CeeDee Lamb and Jackson Smith and Jigba. Like it's enough to know who's on the slate, but there's a full $800 between that and Jackson Smith. Plus his target share has a little bit more solidified. Jackson Smith is actually one of my favorites, but when it comes to pay-ups, these guys right here that's sniffing 9,000 and above 9,000 and at 9,000, I love it. In number 1 would be Puka, Jefferson, then Chase, and then obviously since he's right there at the 9,000, I think it's Puka. Even though it is a tough matchup, Puka and Devontae Adams, their target share and just how they've been playing with Matthew Stafford has been amazing. So it's Puka, CeeDee Lamb, then Jefferson. Because at least, Puka, CeeDee Lamb, and Jefferson. I got to put an asterisk amongst Jefferson. Why? And plus Chase, even though they got capable QBs, they are playing with their backup, while Puka and Lamb are playing with their starting QBs. But Jackson Smith and Jigba is an enigma by himself, 8,000. I love Nico Collins this week. Once again, I am big on Houston as a contrarian stack. It's still up in the air about Christian Kirk. He is still leaning towards or improving to, but they need all the offensive weapons they can get. But Nico Collins by himself, whether they win or lose, like I said, I don't think the Jacksonville defense can even put that kind of pressure. It's still slightly better for them because it is a worse offensive line, but I think this is the easiest matchup that the Houston offensive line has faced. So I think Nico Collins definitely going to have the opportunity to show out this week and get the opportunities to what Nico Collins doesn't. Him by himself can break the slate. You got Ladd McConkey. He's not going to really draw. He's not really going to draw Patrick Surtain. Patrick Surtain is probably going to stick with Christian Johnson. They move Surtain a bit, but he's mostly going to shadow the outside. So Ladd is looking like he's going to look like a great play at 7,500. Drake London against Carolina. There's enough said. Like I said, Devontae Adams at 71. That double stack is viable with Puka. I love Garrett Wilson. He has a capable quarterback, one of the best backups in the league in Tyrod Taylor. Taylor will keep an eye on him. Was passing him the ball when he got into the game, looked efficient. It's a pass funnel, so that definitely works with Garrett Wilson. DK Metcalf was looking like a very good pick, but now with Christian Rodriguez on him, you can slightly downgrade him, but I think DK can still go. Debo versus Las Vegas. I love Debo because they use him in different stakes. Now that Eckler's out, you can probably see a couple more carries for Debo this week. He's been getting a few in these games, so a few more. Terry McLaurin. Here's the thing. Just like how I did the Jake Brown, where I talked about Jake Browning in the defensive video, even though I didn't talk to him about much, even though yes, there's a lot of cheap quarterbacks that you can use, but Jake Browning can't sling it. Mariota has a very small sample size, and it was from 2 years ago, just like Browning. 2023, he played 2 games and had decent numbers in 2 games, 376 yards passing, and with some of these people, obviously not Debo, but with McLaurin, he threw a couple. He hooks up with Ertz. That's why I said if he was one of my favorite quarterbacks, not Browning, not Wentz. I like Mariota, and he hooks up with Terry McLaurin. Now, McLaurin looks a little sluggish because he wasn't in training camp. Those are the kind of plays I don't like. But guess what? In season long, he probably warms up and gets in shape by week 6, 7, and then probably tears it up. But maybe a little familiarity with Terry McLaurin helps. So Terry is an option. But when it comes to that, I will solo Mariota, and he hooks up with Ertz. He hooked up with Ertz in both games and hooked up with McLaurin for a touchdown. And I think almost 180 yards in 2 games with McLaurin when he subbed in 2023. Cortland Sutton's always an option, as usual. Obviously, everybody's on Rome Odunze. Like I said, Emeka. The only good thing about that is at least he was at practice limitedly. 1 o'clock. We'll find out about that news early. But he's one of my favorite plays. DJ Moore, once again, in Chicago. Jacoby Myers. He's somebody that's very underrated. So I really don't talk about him that much. One thing I should have brought up was week 1. I probably did bring it up in week 1 because he was a downgrade a bit once Amari Cooper came back. But once Amari Cooper retired, he's the main wide receiver. Yes, Bowers has a volume, but Jacoby Myers is very underrated. So there's the option. They'll most likely be down in this game, so Jacoby Myers is there. Pickens, somewhat of a contrarian option in that big total of Dallas, Chicago. Jawan Jennings is option. Cheap price, $6,000. Home against Arizona. Keenan Allen also be working the slot against Denver, so there's options there. T-Mac, always a great option. The volume there is amazing. Also at $6,000. Green Bay wide receivers are always more viable to start sifting through as like injuries start attacking that core, because it could be weeks that it could go bounce from one guy to another. So Romeo Doubs I like against Cleveland. Darnell Mooney in the slot is contrarian. I actually like Jerry Jeudy because Cleveland most likely could be down in this game, so there could be a lot of throws, and they have no problem allowing Flacco 35 times, letting Flacco air it out 40-something times in the game. So Jerry Jeudy's an option. The young Matthew Golden is going to get more opportunities and Dontavian Wicks. Ricky Pearsall, as always, is still a great option. I think he's a dangerous contrarian option because so many people are gonna, if not game stack, try to go to the cheap pieces of probably what we just passed by, as in Terry, Keenan Allen. You still got George Pickens, just a little bit more than 62. You got DJ Moore there at 63. So I think somebody like Ricky Pearsall is gonna be ignored. Cedric Tillman, Adam Thielen's an option, at both of them at 5,500, but Cedric Tillman, garbage time, he has performed immensely so far. One of my favorite paydowns, one of the worst teams in the slot. Once again, Tennessee is still horrible in the secondary, and that's just covering the outside. But they are horrible at the slot. Josh Downs is one of my favorite plays this week at 5,400. And that Indiana offense is clicking. So when it comes to paydowns, I love Josh Downs. I'm definitely going to have him. He'll probably most definitely contrarian. Contrarian in a big game, Kevontae Turpin, if you want to go there, for 53. Kayshon Bouttie's an option because because Drake May has stepped up and looks like he has improved from last year. That Pittsburgh defense can get out of its own way. I don't think it might be this week either. It's probably one of those things where they'll probably settle down, but Pittsburgh is not supposed to be looking like this at all, even by week 3. So he's also an option. Troy Franklin is also another option. That's another team that's weak against the slot. And like I said, regardless of being against the slot, the Los Angeles Chargers have issues. If they can't, now they're decent. They are decent in the secondary, but they can be taken advantage of in the secondary. Strong run defense. They can put pressure with that front seven. But how you attack the Chargers, even in the Jim Harbaugh offense, is attacking them deep or attacking them through the air. Troy Franklin is an option. But still, when it comes to, as I keep scrolling down, Marvin Mims has his day, Diami Brown, whatever the case is, Olamide Zacchaeus in that Dallas game. You got Jalen Tolbert. I will say, if it happens, because he has shown some flair. And obviously you're going to like Devon Daleve, if he's out again or whatever. You're going to like Troy Franklin, especially if Dele's out. Sterling Shepard will be right there with Josh Downs, because if Mbuka is out, Sterling Shepard would really, really take over the slot. Mbuka plays the slot, sometimes switches with Ryan Miller and other wide receivers, but right now, if he's out, I'm going to be sprinkling in the 20 max that I'm playing Sterling Shepard. And pretty much, like I said, and I'm not talking about Mike Evans, because Mike Evans will be getting the Sauce Gardner. Once again, here on this channel, we respect the shadows of these cornerbacks. And Mike Evans has, had a slow start because some of this shadowing. So all these other guys are taking advantage. And also, don't forget, Rachaad White and Bucky Irvin. So if Mbuka gets ruled out, man, oh man, Sterling Shepard at 4,900 looks really good. I don't think I want anything else this low at all. So when it comes to the budget, if he's out, Sterling Shepard 4,900. That's more looks and more reps on the field. Josh Downs 5,400. Even though Hunter Renfrow is there, they'll be down, but Josh Downs will be one of my favorite paydowns, along with Cedric Tillman. When we get to the mid-range and we get to these nice prices, both of those Washington wide receivers look good at 6,700. Garrett Wilson's probably my favorite at 6,900. Like for years on this channel, like everybody knows, pass funnel Garrett Wilson, and he has a capable passer throwing it to him. Devontae as well. And then you got Ladd. I guess once you come up here, you can start looking at these guys as pay-ups. 7,800 Nico, JSN at 8,000. And I already told you, like I said, not ducking Jamar Chase, but when it comes to matching what I think is opportunity here, I'd rather go with these guys, because I think even with CeeDee Lamb, I could save almost $1,000 and probably get an even bigger production, or as you can say, since we're dealing with salary, bang for your buck. Thank you once again. This has been the wide receiver top plays on the Grade A Fantasy channel. Thank you for tuning in. Good luck this week. Still a little bit of injury news we gotta cover, but this is my preview and all the information that I have now and my opinions on what my top wide receivers are. Thank you so much for tuning in. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Good luck this weekend, and I'm signing off.